Hey everyone! So, as the church's year starts to wind down, you'll notice the daily readings get, well, pretty intense. We're talking about judgment, the end of all things, and what it really means to persevere. So, let's dive in and unpack these huge themes and see what they mean for us, right here and now. We're going to jump right in with this incredibly dramatic phrase from the book of Daniel, Mene, mene, tekel, usarsin. This is literally the original writing on the wall. It was a divine message that appeared during a king's wild party, and it basically means you've been numbered, you've been weighed, and your kingdom is about to be divided. Talk about a showstopper, right? And that right there sets the stage for our first big idea, divine judgment. So what does it actually mean to be weighed in the balance? In this first part, we're going to explore that stark warning, a message that wasn't just for some ancient king, but really for any of us who get a little too full of ourselves.
Okay, so at its core, divine judgment isn't just some scary event way off in the future. It's more like an ongoing reality. It's the simple truth that God's justice is always, well, active. It's weighing the faithfulness of our world, our cultures, and yeah, even our own hearts. It's all about our accountability to the one true King.
And this story from Daniel gives us such a powerful side-by-side comparison. On one side, you've got King Belshazzar. He is just off the charts arrogant. He's mocking God, using sacred vessels from the temple for his party and toasting to idols made of gold and silver. And what happens? His kingdom is weighed, it's found totally lacking, and it collapses overnight. But then you have Daniel. He stays faithful no matter what. His life just shows the huge difference between building your life on pride versus building it on faith. And the lesson here isn't just about ancient Babylon. It's a truth that echoes through all of history. Every human institution, every empire, every powerful corporation or government we build, it's all temporary. Every single earthly kingdom will eventually pass away. But listen, that warning of collapse is not where the story ends, not even close. Let's pivot now to the gospel, because this is where everything gets flipped into an incredible promise of hope, straight from Jesus himself. So, in the middle of talking about trials, persecution, even being betrayed by family, Jesus gives this absolutely radical promise. But what does he actually mean when he says you'll secure your lives? Because as you're about to see, it's probably not what we first think. And here it is. This is the heart of the whole thing. Jesus isn't promising that we'll never face physical harm or earthly trouble. No, what he's promising is so much bigger than that. He's promising to preserve your soul, your true self, your eternal identity in him. That is what he guarantees will be kept safe, no matter what storms come your way. And get this, he doesn't just leave us to fend for ourselves. When we face trials because of our faith, he actually gives us two incredible gifts. First, that trial becomes an opportunity to give testimony, to show people who he is. And second, we don't have to worry about having the perfect words. Christ himself promises to give us the wisdom we need, right in that moment. Okay, so we've got a world that shakes, and we've got a promise that our souls will be preserved. That leads to a pretty obvious question, right? Where do we get the strength to actually hold on? What's our anchor in the middle of the storm? And this is a really personal question, but it's one that our faith answers in a very real, very concrete way. When everything around you feels like it's crumbling, what is the one thing that will hold you fast? The answer, of course, is right at the very center of our faith. The source of our strength, our one truly unshakable anchor, is Christ himself, who makes himself present for us in the Eucharist. And this is where all these big ideas become incredibly personal and practical. That promise Jesus makes, it's not just a nice thought. It's a tangible reality we can actually receive. Every time we participate in the Mass, we are literally anchoring ourselves to the one constant in a universe of constant change, Jesus Christ, who gives himself to us as our strength. So, how do we take this amazing reality and actually live it out day to day? Let's move into our final section and break this down into one simple, powerful action you can take starting today. The answer isn't some big, complicated life plan. It's actually way simpler than that. The readings are calling us to focus on just one thing at a time, one single intentional act of faithfulness. Here's how it works. First, just pick one small, concrete thing in your life. Maybe it's being more patient with a coworker, or being more honest in how you talk, Or maybe it's just doing your daily chores with a little more love. Then, throughout the day, just repeat this simple prayer in your heart. Lord, help me remain faithful until death. What you're doing is training your soul for endurance, one small step at a time.
And this simple practice builds the key virtue from today's readings, perseverance. The Greek word for it is hypomone, and it doesn't just mean gritting your teeth and getting through something. It's an active, steady endurance that actually comes from faith, especially when you're feeling the pressure. So when you put it all together, we're building two virtues that work together. From that story in Daniel, we get a holy fear, not being terrified, but having a deep respect for God's justice that keeps us humble. And from the gospel, we get a holy courage, a deep trust in Christ's promises that gives us the strength to endure. You really need both of those to stand firm. So the final takeaway is this. We don't just wait around for some huge trial to start building our spiritual strength. We start now. We start today in the little things. So the question becomes really personal. What's that one area where you will choose to be faithful today, preparing your soul not for collapse, but for Christ?